of view. When we try to figure out the point of view of a story, we start by asking a simple question. Who is telling the story? Once we have figured out who is telling the story, we can then categorize the point of view. For everyday use, Mrs. Johnson is telling us the story from her perspective. When a character in a story is the narrator, this is called first-person point of view. For omniscient point of view, the narrator knows the minds of all the characters and every event that is happening in the story. For limited omniscience, which is called third-person limited, this narrator can only get inside one character's head. Then there is stream of consciousness. These are the apparent random thoughts that go through a character's head. In a story told in an objective point of view, the narrator is more like a camera, so you don't get into anyone's head. A narrative's point of view is important to consider because it affects how we think about the characters and the action taking place. If Dee was the narrator instead of Mrs. Johnson, then Alice Walker's story would be very different. How much the narrator knows influences how much we know. If we can't get inside a character's head, then this limits us. In the story Cathedral, we aren't very pleased with Bub's thoughts and his attitude. We know his wife's opinions a little because she voices them, but we don't know her specific thoughts. For example, what does she think about Robert? Is he really just a friend to her? Can we trust the narrator to tell us the story, or is it possible for the narrator to be biased? Would the narrator possibly keep information from us, or skew the facts in his or her favor? When analyzing a story, one of the first elements we should think about is who is telling the story. Then think about how this point of view affects the characters and actions taking place in the story, as well as our perceptions about what we are reading.